Madeline Soto had just turned 13. She had just celebrated her birthday at a family party. But the following morning, she never made it to school. Her mother reported her missing on February 26th. The search began and ended when she was found dead on the side of the road. That was almost 2 months ago. And now tonight, huge breaking news.
Stephan Stearns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder.
Stephan Stearns, the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, has now been charged with her murder. The same man who's been indicted for allegedly sexually abusing and photographing his abuse of Madeline. Tonight, we'll take a look at all the new details revealed by law enforcement and look at the role of her mother in the prosecution of this case as we continue our investigation into the tragic life and death of Madeline Soto. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you for joining us tonight. Big news that hit late this afternoon. Big news in the big story we've been covering. We're talking about Madeline Soto and what her story's tragic, period. I mean, tragic. Capital T, however you want to say it. And you think about her life and what she endured during her life. Being a victim of sex abuse, not being protected. Writing to her friend, and this is no accident, writing to her friend, when I turn 13, I want to go live in the woods. Because home was not a safe place for her. She knew home was not a safe place for her. She understood. And now she was getting older. She was getting to the point, and I think she was realizing everything that was going on in her life, and it just wasn't right. And it wasn't right, and she was looking for a way out. But not this way. Not this way. The allegations against Madeline's mother's boyfriend are just vile. What he's accused of doing. You know, we throw around that term, worst of the worst, and it can come in different forms. And we see it here on Court TV in different forms. Think about this. Since she was 8 years old, prosecutors say, he's abusing her and memorializing this abuse with videos and photographs on his phone. And that, he's just charged with the stuff that they found on his phone. What else could have potentially been happening to this child? And now today, the murder. So you look at Madeline's life, all right? Her mom and dad are never together, right? So she's with her mom. And sometimes that can be great. You know, that mother-daughter bond. You know, you and I together, we'll do it. I'm going to do everything for you. And yeah, dad is in the picture. Maybe he's not right around the corner, but he's in the picture and is writing and calling and all those other things, right? And then this creepy man enters your world. A man who targets your mother so he can have access to you. That's what the allegations are here. Make no mistake about it. But that then brings us back to mom. What about mom here? What about mom? To me, this is still the unanswered question about what she is thinking about this, what she thinks about the man accused of molesting her daughter, abusing her daughter. I mean, could she possibly be thinking that he's been wrongfully accused of that? They charged him because it's on his phone. On his phone. So I can't imagine that she could in any way be supporting this man, but we don't know. We haven't heard from her. I mean, she could have had a mental breakdown for all we know. It's a lot to handle here. It's a lot. But what will her role be in all of this? Because if you're proving a case against this man, like the number one witness, if I'm in the jury box, who do I want to hear from? I want to hear from her. You know the accused, and you certainly know the victim. What can you tell us about what was going on in that house? But we're not sure. We're not sure what her role is going to be in all this yet. Hopefully we'll find out at some point, maybe at a probable cause preliminary hearing, pretrial motions. Maybe she'll make a statement. Maybe she has an attorney who will make a statement. Maybe a family member will come out and say something, but we haven't heard anything. And at the end of the day, let's not forget where we are. We're down in Central Florida, okay? We've covered big cases before. Big cases that seemed pretty straightforward. Cases that seem to have a lot of evidence involving the death of a little girl. So the question tonight is, will she get justice? Will Madeline get justice? Which means the truth comes out inside that courtroom and the jury tells us what happened. Because that's not a guarantee. It's never a guarantee. No matter what you think now, no matter what I think now, no matter how you think the evidence is, until a jury comes back with a verdict, everything's on the table. Anything can happen. So let's get into this indictment. Let me show you the words from the paper, because it's powerful. I mean, to be indicted for murder. The grand jurors of the county of Osceola do present that Stephan Michael Stearns, on or between the 25th day of February 2024 and the 27th day of February 2024, did, in violation of Florida Statute 782.04, subsection 1A1, from a premeditated design to effect the death of Madeline Soto, a human being, unlawfully kill Madeline Soto. So we heard from the state attorney who will be in charge of the prosecution of this case, whether he does it himself or has one of his prosecutors do it. It's likely the case. Spoke today. Let's take a listen.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today, the Kissimmee Police Chief and myself are here to provide an update on the death investigation on 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who was reported missing back on February 26th of this year and discovered dead 4 days later. I know the community and the media have been anxious for us to give an update on this case, and this is an opportunity for us to do that. For the last 7 weeks, 7.5 weeks actually, the Kissimmee Police Department and my office have been working closely to go over every piece of evidence that we could gather in this case. It was a voluminous and a lot of evidence to get through during that time, but we were successful in getting through it and making sure that we were able to provide the best case we could. Today we're announcing that Stephan Stearns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto. We presented the case to the grand jury. They returned an indictment earlier today. The death penalty in this case, we have not decided to what decision we're going to make in that case. We're going to continue those discussions going forward, and we'll let you know again when we make that decision as to whether we're going to seek the death penalty in this case. I want to thank the grand jury for their hard work and their efforts in making sure that we're making this first step in seeking justice for Madeline Soto, for her family, and so the community can have closure in this case.
Let's bring in our guest. Joining me tonight in Orlando, Florida, WFTV investigative reporter on top of the story from the beginning, Shannon Butler. Also in Orlando, Florida, you recognize him, retired judge of the 9th Judicial Circuit, the Honorable Belvin Perry. And finally, in Portland, Oregon, true crime live streamer Gray Hughes, who you can find on YouTube at Gray Hughes Investigates. He's been investigating this case as well. Great to see everyone tonight. Shannon, I'm going to start with you. You were there at the press conference today. Describe the moment, who was there, and what you learned.
Well, there was a lot of media. Obviously, we had been waiting for this to come down for quite a while. We weren't sure that it was going to come so soon. We knew that the state attorney had a meeting with KPD. I think it was last week, but they weren't ready to file these charges. They had to send it to a grand jury. That grand jury then indicted you look at that panel up there, that was the state attorney. That was also the head of homicide at the state attorney's office. And then one of the other prosecutors down there in Osceola County, along with the police chief. All of them have been in quite a lot of conversations about how to get to this point, how to do what they did today, is charge Stephan Stearns with murder.
Any indication, because as you mentioned off the top, we've been waiting some time, any information about what took this amount of time to get to, and does any of it include figuring out the cause of death?
Yeah, so there's a few things here. Sources have told me there were multiple people inside that house on Sunday night. We're talking about Sunday night right after Madeline Soto's birthday party, all of that video that you've seen in those pictures of her birthday party. There were multiple people inside that home. So investigators had to go back and interview all of those folks. We know it was Stephan Stearns. We know it was Madeline Soto. We know it was Jen Soto, but there were a couple of other family members there. So one, they had to go back and do all of those interviews. We don't know if any of that information was helpful in them trying to pinpoint and get where they got today. But that was one issue. Then they were also concerned about doing this too quickly. That speedy trial starts, and they had so much information to still go through that they really wanted to take their time. And I know that KPD, the Kissimmee Police Department, had met with the state attorney several times, and they're like, you know, you're just not there yet. You're just not there. We need a couple of more things. And that seems to be enough. If you look at that indictment and the paperwork, it says that they indicted him based on the fact that he allegedly tried to hide that body. You know, you've seen the video, or you've seen some video, but we know that there are multiple videos showing him with Madeline Soto after she died. There is indication now that she possibly was killed right after her birthday party. So if you look at that, Vinnie, that would have been Sunday night, not Monday morning. If you remember, they said that she was dropped off at school. Sources have told me they believe at this point that she was killed possibly overnight. That would be Sunday night. And that is an important time frame, because if you listen to the statements that she was dropped off at school, that she got ready for school, all of those things that both Stephan Stearns and Jen Soto have said would long be not true if she was in fact killed the night before.
Yeah, Jen Soto was very specific about speaking with her and seeing her getting dressed for school at 8 a.m. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. All right, Judge Belvin Perry, great to see you tonight. Let me start here. This guy hasn't shown his face, won't show up in a courtroom, keeps waiving every appearance. I just covered a trial up in New Hampshire where a man who murdered his daughter never showed up in court, finally ordered to show up for his sentencing. Is it possible that this man can waive every appearance?
The answer to that is no, Vinnie. He's going to have to be brought before the bar of justice, and the judge has the authority to order that he appear in court for those proceedings. I suspect that this man will be ordered at the appropriate time, other than arraignment, to be there at scheduled court appearances. Because if they let him bypass those appearances, he's going to turn around and use that as an avenue of appeal.
Now, I want to ask you about speedy trial down in Florida, Judge. How does that work if this defense team says, hey, we want this done as quickly as possible? How quick are we talking about?
In Florida, he has a right to come to trial within 180 days of his arrest. I do not suspect that they want a speedy trial in this particular case. Due to the length of investigation, the multiple crime scenes, and we don't even know all the forensics that are out there, they're going to need time to go through all of that, and they're going to need time to develop whatever defenses they have that they can produce. The standard ones would be, quote, insanity, which there's no evidence at this point to show that he was legally insane, or some other person did it. So I do not suspect that this trial will go within the next 2 years.
Gray Hughes, covering the investigation here It's like we were waiting for this moment to happen. Everything pointed in that direction. But what are your thoughts tonight about what Shannon is reporting, that it's possible that she was dead the night before? What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm glad Shannon brought that up earlier. The 25th at night, you remember a while back we had that telegram post that was at 11:49. Stephan Stearns is using Telegram at 11:49. And now we learned that site is used by child predators often and is sort of an up-and-coming site that they're using. And so it makes you wonder, what was he doing at 11:49 on Telegram if they believe that she could have possibly died the night before? It's also possible that she came home after the party and then, maybe Jen saw her. There's some theories out there that, like, maybe he said, hey, let me take her out for some ice cream or something. She goes to sleep and she never actually comes home again. And Jen goes to sleep. I mean, we don't really know what the actual story is, but, Jennifer, does she know more? I don't know. I mean, I could see Stephan Stearns being one of those controlling type people that absolutely, she trusted, and he would always have a really good explanation for everything. The 8 a.m, when she says that she saw Madeline getting ready at 8 a.m, we already knew that isn't a true statement, because he was Stephan was already throwing the backpack and laptop in the garbage at the trash at 7:35, right? So that's likely that Madeline isn't even alive at this point. So, when Jen said that, I could easily see him saying, listen, I was the one that took her to school. You were still sleeping, you'll look bad. So just tell him that you saw Madeline at 8, right? You could just see him being like this. Like he guilted her into telling the lie that she saw Madeline at 8 a.m. That's my opinion.
Yeah, how is he going to explain it unless she's connected? Now, Shannon, in terms of what's next, in terms of an appearance in court, is he scheduled? What do we expect? When do we expect it?
Well, he has to make a first appearance on these murder charges, and then he'll be arraigned later. But we do expect more information to be uploaded for us to see before that happens. There are still a lot of details that we need to see. It wasn't grand jury indictment. A lot of that is sealed, but we do know that some of that information is forthcoming, and we don't know what that will mean in this case. But he will make a court appearance if he shows up. There was some indication from the state attorney today that going forward, he will have to appear in court because he hasn't. They've made it very clear that they intend to make sure that the judge requires him to be in court, but we'll see.
Judge, I wanted to ask you about 2 cases now. So you've got all these charges involving the sexual abuse, and now you've got the murder charges. What does that mean? Is it possible they could be combined and put in front of the same jury, or are we on 2 tracks for 2 different trials here?
There need to be on track for 2 different trials, and this is the reason why. These things predate the date of the homicide. One of the aggravating factors would be he has previously been convicted of a felony involving violence, i.e., the possibility of 8 counts of sexual battery upon a child. So those cases should go first, and then you will have the murder case teed up so they would have those particular convictions to use as aggravating factors if they choose to seek the death penalty.
Oh, I think they will. I think they will, but that makes a lot of sense. Okay, great news. All our guests are staying with us. When we come back, we're going to shift the focus more onto Jen Soto. What about Mom? Plus, coming up next hour. In Boise, Idaho, the doomsday prophet Chad Daybell on trial for the murder of his first wife and his new wife's children. Tonight, we take a closer look at the death of his wife, Tammy.
The medical examiners would later determine that the only reasonable explanation for Tammy's death was not of natural causes, but rather a homicide.
my two best friends were just murdered.
An all-new Court TV special.
We have found 2 bodies, double homicide investigation.
The arrest of Richard M. Allen, Delphi.
Child murder!
Everyone's first reaction was, who?
No criminal history.
They got the wrong guy.
Hiding in plain sight.
He's either the unluckiest guy in the world, or he was there.
The Delphi Murders, the case against Richard Allen, premieres Sunday, 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Say.
What is the status of the investigations in regards to the bullet? Something you can share about?
At this time, the only person being charged is Stephan Stearns. And again, this is not over. There is an ongoing investigation to uncover more evidence, and therefore we can't comment.
One person charged, but an ongoing investigation. And it could be to collect more evidence, or it could be to collect more evidence against someone else for something related to all of this. We just don't know at this point. But it's a big question. What about Jen Soto? What about Madeline's mom? As you know, she did speak to WFTV, Shannon Butler's station. Here's some of what she said.
We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way. She was spotted walking by the church, by the middle school, on the cameras. They saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just saw her walk away around 9 a.m. heading towards the school, but she never made it.
What was the last thing, I guess, the conversation that you two had, you and your daughter?
We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working, but she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. I told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. But yeah, in my heart, I feel like somebody took her. This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school. I don't know what to think. She was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, white Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with gray hibiscus flowers on it. She got dropped off in the morning. We did not notice until after school pickup at 4 o'clock when I went to go pick her up, and she wasn't at school.
Okay, Shannon Butler, I have 2 important questions which I don't know the answer to. That's why I'm asking you. Where is Jen Soto now? And where was she, like, the day of the party and that night and in the morning? Like, how certain are we of her whereabouts on the 25th into the 26th? And any idea where she is now?
I do, at least where she is now. She is still here. And I know that because just about 10 days ago, Madeline Soto's father was here. We spoke to him, and part of the reason that he was here was to get some of Madeline Soto's ashes. So an attorney for Tyler Wallace, who's Madeline Soto's dad, did go and see Jen Soto. Jen Soto gave those ashes to his attorney, and that the attorney gave those ashes to him. So as of that day, which was, I think, the 15th or so, Jen Soto was still here. She was with family members. She answered the door and handed over those ashes. As for the 25th to the 27th, what we believe is that she was home. She was in the house. We know that she had to work, so she says, when the birthday party was going on. But at some point, she was definitely inside that home in the hours kind of surrounding what happened here. It depends on, which story of hers you look at. She had said, at one point that she was sleeping. Then she said she, saw her when she left for school, so that would place her in the house. Sleeping would have placed her in the house. Then she was working. So it's hard to know exactly where she was because her stories just aren't lining up.
All right, Judge Belvin Perry, not only a great judge, America's judge, but also former prosecutor. Looking at this case, how do you see Jen Soto, the mom? Is she going to be the state's key witness in understanding, in allowing this jury to understand what's happening at home? Is she a suspect in anything? How do you figure out what her role will be here?
First of all, Vinnie, her demeanor and her affect is totally inconsistent with a mom whose daughter who has gone missing and she has no idea what happened to her. It is quite evident to me by all of the different stories that she has told that there may be some involvement. When did she leave work? When did she go to work? What is the time of death that is estimated by the medical examiner in this case? Was there any evidence in the autopsy that showed that this beautiful young lady was sexually assaulted? A lot of roads are going to lead to this mother. And until we get additional information, the suspicion is very high as to her involvement in how did this go on for years and she didn't even talk to her daughter about it. These are a lot of unanswered questions that will be answered.
Gray Hughes, I always come back to Madeline and the message that she sent to her friend saying, when I turn 13, which is what she turned, I want to go live in the woods. Like, Madeline did not want to be home. It wasn't a safe place for her. And to me, that is the other big part of this story that is unknown. Her relationship with her mom, whether she was hiding something from her mom, hiding the abuse, whether she didn't feel she could tell her mom, or whether her mom knew. These are the questions that would complete the picture of how this could happen.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest questions in this case is what changed at the end, because he had been abusing her for years. What changed where he then felt that he had to kill her? And I think, Vinnie, you mentioned something that you're opening about how, you know, she might have been thinking to herself, this isn't right now. This isn't right now. So you wonder if she was threatening to tell her mom to Stephan, and that might have led to him planning. But don't you guys feel like it was, even though it's premeditated, I know premeditation can sometimes be an instantaneous thing that you plan on, you know, like you decide to kill somebody and you kill them, but the planning afterwards is so ludicrous that you almost kind of wonder, like, did he literally plan it step by step out, or was it something like that evening? And I also go back to that again, that telegram site, and then you listen to what that officer said at that press conference. Could it be that he's actually saying there's other arrests and maybe it's part of a larger network, not just...
That would be the bombshell, right? If he is sending pictures, receiving pictures, and working with other people. I'll let the judge start with the premeditation. Where do you see the potential for premeditation, or what does it take in Florida to prove that?
The jury instructions will say there's no exact length of time that premeditation must exist. It must exist at the time of the killing. Also, premeditation can be determined by the cause of death. Was this a strangulation? We don't know. But the state has evidence that they have revealed through autopsies and other things that led them to believe that this was a premeditated killing. It's all, Vinnie, going to come out later on when we get a chance to look at all of the physical evidence, particularly that autopsy report.
Absolutely. I know they're not making that public, Shannon, the autopsy report according to the medical examiner. But Shannon, how about the timing now? Because there was some mention about, hey, we can't say anything now. The defendant has the right to get discovery. From your experience in the media covering all these big stories, what are your thoughts about when the public will learn some more of the details of what happened and what they found in this investigation that led to today's indictment?
Well, we've already seen some of the discovery schedule, and we've already requested some of that information. I don't expect that's going to take very long to get. That was for the other case. In this case, they have 15 days. And as soon as that discovery is shared, I expect it won't be too long before we know. I would guess in the next 30 days or so, we will start to piece some of this together. Even though that autopsy may not be public, I think that there are some clear indicators in the information that we're going to get that will give us a better idea of what happened that night.
And Judge, is there any reason to think that this state attorney is not going to seek the death penalty in this case?
Based upon the fact that there's a possibility of at least 4 aggravating factors in this particular case, I suspect that the state at the proper time will announce that they will seek the ultimate penalty, that penalty being death.
All right. Big day. Appreciate everyone coming on. Shannon Butler, WFTV, breaking all of this news. Thank you so much. Judge Belvin Perry, America's Judge, great to catch up with you. And Gray Hughes, true crime live streamer. Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, on top of this story and all the other big ones. Make sure you check him out after the show. After the show. Got to keep him here, Gray, for just a little while longer. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you again. So February 26th is when Madeline was reported missing. That same day, February 26th, another child was reported missing. Sebastian Rogers, out of Tennessee. You've seen all the developments in the Madeline Soto case. They're not great developments, but there are developments. But as we sit here tonight, the search for Sebastian Rogers continues. He has not been found. His dad will join us live next.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
Okay. Same date that Madeline Soto went missing, February 26th, Sebastian Rogers was reported missing. He's a 15-year-old. Take a look at his picture, please, folks. That's the important part here. A 15-year-old with autism, last seen at home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's near Nashville. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, discovered he was missing from his room. Around 6 o'clock in the morning is when she says he went missing. There's like no evidence of anything here. So please take a look at the picture. Go on your social media and find a picture of him and share it, because we've got to share this everywhere. Important note also, April 26th at 7:30 will be Light the Path for Sebastian. Memorial Park in Hendersonville. It's on Main Street. The bridge will be lit up in Sebastian's favorite color, which is green. And joining us right now, special guest, Sebastian's dad, Seth Rogers, is back with us. Seth, thanks for coming on tonight. Let's start with what we're looking at here, Light the Path. Give us a little more information about it, what it's about, and I want to know why green was or is Sebastian's favorite color.
He just likes green. It's been his favorite color for as long as, you know, one of the first things, conversations is like, what's your favorite color? And he chose green, and has stuck with it. So for the last, 12 years, it's always been green with him. So hopefully we can light the path in green, and they wouldn't let me get a Batman signal. So we'll just go ahead and use glow sticks and light bags, and it'll be 2 months.
2 months. That's 2 months is too long. I mean, two hours is too long to have a child missing. Another announcement that I saw you made is that you are now working with Chris and Katie. Chris, his stepfather, and Katie, his mom. So all of you are now putting aside your differences and working together?
Chris approached me at the vigil last weekend and asked if, we could drop our egos and work together to find Sebastian. And I told him as long as he's willing to help, I'll take any of the help I can get. My ego is not enough to stop me from accepting help to try to find my son.
And how is that developed? Is the help there from Chris and Katie?
I've been sending Chris and Katie emails for things that I've already have in the works. I'm currently waiting on Chris to approve what I've sent to him. If he doesn't approve it, then,
What type of things are we talking about?
I've got a canine handler that is extremely overqualified, has several different background clearances, classifications. Their dogs are everything from cadaver to narcotics to live tracking, bomb sniffing. The dogs are exquisitely trained. I've got them to come in to see if we can actually find anything that maybe Sumner County Sheriff's Office wasn't able to get. I've got a couple different organizations that are search and rescue qualified that are 501c out of Texas. I've actually spoken to an individual who wants to be our spokesperson for all three of us, so that way there's no quote-unquote mudslinging or anything like that that will speak for us as a unified front.
I think that's a great development. I think that's
all this stuff that I've been working on, and I've sent it to him. I'm just waiting on him to get back with me and be on the same plan with me to find Sebastian.
Now, I also saw Katie spoke on a program over the weekend, and one thing that stuck out to me, she said she's getting daily updates from law enforcement. Are you getting daily updates from law enforcement?
No, sir.
And is there a reason? Are they not they don't want to communicate with you, or is there?
They are communicating with my private investigators. That way there is no longer me having to take time out of my day while I'm sitting there searching, trying to gather resources and planning on the next action to take. My private investigators are speaking with them.
And how many PIs do you have on the case?
Currently, I have 2.
And I'm hearing you talk about private investigators, search teams, canines trained. Is this something that is going to have to be financed some way?
I'm using the GoFundMe. I've been using everything that's coming in so that I can finance what I can.
And at this point, because it's been 2 months, do you feel like the support is still out there from the public? Is it dying down at all? Because we don't want it to die down.
Sebastian's army is strong. People want my son found. And every day I wake up, God has made sure that I have woken up. My goal is to find my son, and he knows it.
Seth, appreciate you coming on tonight. I know you're extremely busy, but I wanted to make sure everyone knew about Light the Path for Sebastian on the 26th. It's going to be a big crowd. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and our thoughts are with you.
I am currently working on another vigil as well. I should know soon if I'll be able to have it.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Seth.